Christian, what did you think of Resident Evil Zero?
I was kind of let down by Resident Evil Zero. I don't know. I felt like this one would have that cachet.
Yeah.
This one it has the number in the name.
Is zero a number? I don't know.
You're getting a little existential.
Resident Evil Zero was always something I saw in like gaming magazines where I'm like, whoa.
Ooh.
Because it looks very good.
Yeah.
If there's one aspect of this game that's good, it's the part that would look cool in a magazine if you're a 10-year-old and you're like looking at it and you're like, whoa, this looks real, and they're on a train.
Totally.
And this was before I played any Resident Evil games because I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's really disappointing to go play it and realize it's not very good, but trains are cool.
It's an interesting kind of step backwards from Code Veronica in the sense that we're back to pre-rendered backgrounds.
But that's not a problem at all to me.
No.
Yeah.
No,
right.
Not at all. But it seemed like Code Veronica, they wanted to push the envelope in some way.
Right.
When it came to the visuals, I guess, at least. And in here, they tried to push the envelope by just making there be 2 playable protagonists.
Which is crazy. Because hasn't Resident Evil basically always done that? It's just you didn't...
It really seems so. Yeah. It does. Just not simultaneously.
Yeah, because there's like the parts in Resident Evil Zero where it's like, okay, I'm just Rebecca.
Yep.
But there were also the parts in like 2 where you were just a little girl or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Yeah. In Veronica, you get to play as Pretty Boy with the dual pistols.
Oh, that was so cool. Yeah. I could have used more of that in this game. But
heck yeah.
Do you use a walkthrough with these games, Chris? No judgment?
When I need to, absolutely.
Okay. That's fair. I like to use a walkthrough with these games because it kind of shifts the power. Because the power of Resident Evil is always that it knows more than you do.
Right.
And it's like, oh, I'm going into this room and I've got 6 bullets and I need 7 bullets to get through this room. And a walkthrough doesn't really make the game easier. It just kind of like levels that playing field a little bit. It's like you got a friend with you. It's like, hey, buddy, be prepared.
Yeah. It seems like this Resident Evil save system is kind of set up that way.
Yeah.
Where it seems like the majority of the time investment in a Resident Evil game comes from failing at some point and then just redoing the entire thing over again when you actually know what's going to happen.
Right. That's how I play. And then when that happens, I go to the walkthrough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm burning this. I saved. And now the next 20 minutes is just figuring stuff out, just seeing the world. And then I die. And then I'm like, I'm not going to play this anymore right now. And then I come back with a walkthrough and I get past that part.
Nailed it.
That's not a great way to play video games.
No.
It's not a lot of fun. But my point at the beginning was just that I think it's hilarious that all the walkthroughs are like, just leave one of the characters in the room.
Yeah.
Don't interface with the other character, even though the whole point of this game is you have 2 characters.
Yeah. 2 characters. So, Tyler, my question for you.
Yes.
The 2 protagonists thing. What do you gain by having 2 playable protagonists simultaneously?
Christian, that is the best answer question. Question? It's been a very long day. That's the best question you could ask because it's so fascinating now. It's like the end of an era. It is something you would never see again. If they remade this game, it would be completely different because they would be talking constantly. But this game is so eerie in the context of modern video games because it's just like footstep sounds. It's just like, I'll go ahead. Okay. It's so crazy. That's not what video games are anymore. Video games are definitely Resident Evil Zero. They just have scripts.
Yeah. Right. Good point.
Dang. So this is like this weird relic talisman that's fascinating. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't add anything that Billy is there with a shotgun other than, and you're like, Billy, stop shooting.
Yeah.
Why are you shooting when I don't want you to shoot and you don't shoot when I want you to shoot, but you shoot when I shoot, which is busted. That's not how you would set that up.
No.
Oh,
it's not.
What did it do for you, Christian?
That's a good question because I was struggling to think of like anything that it added outside of the novelty. Because like you were saying, the video game magazine part of it is probably the coolest part of it, where conceptually, where in your brain, when you're thinking of what you can do with 2 playable protagonists simultaneously, or even just at the time, probably the technical achievement of it seems kind of cool. We're like, whoa,
Yeah.
there's so much they can do with 2 people I can control.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was crazy.
Think of the puzzle opportunities.
Somebody didn't.
Right, because in practice, it's one person holds a lever while you swap over to the other character and push the button while the other person holds a lever.
And very rarely is it under duress. It's not like fight off in a monster while the other character does something. It's like
Yeah.
the room is clear. Now we do the box puzzle.
Yep. Oh, that box puzzle. That box puzzle is awful in so many, and it doesn't even take into account 2 characters. You just have one character sit there so that you save 2 seconds having to walk up the ladder and push the button to see if you did it right.
Yes.
Insanity.
I challenge you, though. I'm on your side with this, but can you think of a good example where you have 2 characters in a game? Like I'm thinking like The Last of Us or something,
Sure.
where it's like, this is a really interesting puzzle that 2 people... Because I feel like that's it.
Yeah, good question. It's been a very long time, but Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons might be kind of the closest they ever got,
It's a good answer.
but I don't know for sure because
Good
it's been
answer.
years. I don't know.
Yeah. I just think of like Ellie pushing the boxes in the
Right.
river or whatever, and
Right.
ugh,
Yeah,
Which I don't
kicking
wanna
down
do
a
either.
ladder.
right, right. And then there's some of that where it's like, get the battery,
Mhm.
boost you up to get the battery, but my inventory's full, so then I have to get out of the menu, and then I get put back on the ground, and then I drop the item on the ground, and then I get the battery.
Right. Yeah. There's so much you sacrifice by having to control 2 people,
Whoa.
like the inventory crap,
Yeah.
because there's no item box anymore, like there was in the last one.
Which is neither good nor bad.
Right,
Really?
because the item
Yeah.
box is just the floor now. So you just drop something on the floor if you want to keep it.
That's not good.
No. And then you have to do all this inventory micromanagement, and it just drives me insane.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but the fact that you don't have an item box anymore and you instead have 2 people, it's like, okay, this character can mix herbs, so I got to make sure all the herbs go to her so that she can mix them and then bring them back to the other guy in case he gets hurt.
Right.
And then they're like, if you look up online, someone will have a tip out there being like, make one character carry all of the ammo because then it frees up the inventory in the other person's inventory.
The mule.
It frees up the slot. So then you're stuck like you shoot 10 shots and then run out of ammo and then go to the pause menu and then put the ammo in the other person's inventory and then go back into the pause menu and combine it with the gun so that you can reload without having to do it in real time. It's just insane.
To compare it to the item box, right?
Sure.
The item box is like this temporal friend you have where you're like,
Yeah.
I'm dropping you off, Mr. Handgun, but I'll see you at the next save room. Not so with this, because it's just like I have to designate a room basically where I drop stuff, and then I am
Yeah.
constantly aware of the fact that I will then have to journey back to that room and grab that stuff. It's a chore that you make for yourself because the game sucks.
Another thing
Yeah.
that you lose, or
Okay.
another detriment of having 2 playable protagonists, is that they didn't change the Resident Evil level design at all.
Okay.
So there is bound to be a point in which you're stuck slamming against the AI and wanting them to get out of the way.
In those moments where you're gently nudging your hitbox against Rebecca Chambers,
Yeah.
if ever there was the illusion of like these are 2 people in a space, which you would think would be the point of having 2 protagonists of your game, it's like, oh, I'm just like, this is like a robot. This is a video game mechanic, this other character. What did you think of the giant bat?
Giant Bat, the enemy design is interesting
Okay.
because they go, I don't know, they go very animal with it, I guess. I was going to say mammalian because we've got monkeys,
We got monkeys.
but they also copied and pasted the spiders because we got spiders again.
We got spiders.
We got giant frogs.
We got a frog.
No giant enemy crabs, though. Little disappointed.
That was later on.
Giant enemy crab or lobster, though, I think.
Yeah, leeches should have been the thing, man.
Yeah,
Because leeches are terrifying.
sure.
Have you seen Stand By Me?
No.
Have you seen The City of Gold or whatever, starring Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock?
The Road to El Dorado?
That's a great movie that might have leeches.
Sure.
In Stand By Me, it's on his pingus. But the bad guy in this game is made of leeches, which isn't... Can you clear something up for me, Christian?
Probably not.
Okay. Towards the end of the video game, Resident Evil Zero,
Yeah.
there is a cutscene that kind of explores the backstory of the main antagonist, which is the antagonist being this kind of like weird opera singing leech man.
Right.
Okay. And there's this flashback, and he's like getting killed by Wesker. And
Okay.
Birkin? But Birkin is doing like this evil maniacal laugh. But I thought Birkin was the guy in like Resident Evil 2 where he's like, my daughter, and I have to make the serum for my daughter or whatever.
Sure. I had no idea what was happening. Someone like morphed their face into someone else at some point.
Yeah, his head fell off, or like the leeches have the power to turn into people.
Sure. Yeah. And like you can't kill those bad guys unless you got fire.
Yeah, fire kills leeches. Obviously, we've all played Pokemon. And then there's leeches, but there's also zombies because it's Resident Evil. But this is taking place before Resident Evil 1.
Yes. And we know that because Wesker is like, I got to go to that mansion.
Yep. And it ends with them being like, what is that mansion off in the distance?
Right.
No, don't go. So there's connective tissue in here between Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 1. As a magazine reading child, I thought, oh my God, that would be so cool to see how Resident Evil starts. Didn't get much out of that aspect.
Yeah, that's what I was disappointed by. Because when you say like the prequel to Resident Evil 1, I feel like there's a lot of room for exploration there. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that you can end up putting in there. Because Resident Evil 1 is just like there's zombies in a mansion. And then Resident Evil 2 is like there's zombies in a city. And that's what Resident Evil 3 is also.
Right.
So I was like, okay, like you can do interesting things with not zombies to start out with. And we can kind of like see how that starts. But it's just there's a dude singing on a cliff who throws leeches at a train. And then there's zombies in the train.
Yeah. Yeah, they totally are. I don't know where the zombies come from or
Right.
the leeches necessarily, but the thing with Resident Evil 1 was it's like, oh, you think it's going to be this mansion, but then you go into like a laboratory and stuff.
Yeah.
What if that happened again?
Right. Yeah.
Beforehand and after.
What if you're on a train first and then you go to a mansion
and then a laboratory?
and then the laboratory?
And then a factory?
Yes. But the mansion is like an umbrella training facility for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why do you could make that anything?
Yeah.
Why pick a mansion?
I say this about it. Every time we have one of these conversations, I'm like, I thought the mansion was all right.
Right.
I thought it was all right. It was cool. It had the crows. I like the crows a lot. It's just crazy. You know, I don't care really about the Resident Evil fiction, but
Yeah.
I kind of care that we have several characters from future Resident Evil games in this game fighting zombies and tyrants and such. And then in the future games, they're just like,
Yeah.
whoa, zombies, that's crazy. I've never seen that before, even though I was in Resident Evil 0
Yeah, totally.
playing through the whole game,
It's great.
doing this exact scenario. It's like Metal Gear Solid 2, like we're
Yeah.
just doing this over and over. Cycle of loss. This was a training program. I don't know. There's an interesting way they could have taken the fact that all these games are the same. But no, it's just like totally cynical. Here you go again.
Yeah.
This game.
The main characters aren't even that compelling, which was also
Oh
kind
my
of
God.
a letdown. Because like in Veronica X, they're at least like caricatures of something.
Yeah.
Where Rebecca Chambers, we got a new Stars member,
Yes.
a la Jill Valentine, but she's not cool. She's just wide-eyed and meek, and I guess
Sure.
she's a medic, which I guess is why.
Yeah.
But she's stuck
a
against
freshie.
this convict guy, and she's just like, "Oh, you killed 23 people, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." Well, I'm not going to talk about that right now. She was like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to shoot you. I'm not scared of you, you know." He's like, "Okay."
You're giving
Are
this.
these people?
That was a better read than whatever's in the game, but yeah. No, they're not. The Billy cutscene where he explains his backstory is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, I am so fascinated by that.
How did that happen?
I don't know. There could be essays written about that one cutscene. It is.
Yes, no, the cutscene where a bunch of soldiers go into a African country and just gun down people on screen, and it's one of like 3 cutscenes in the game is crazy.
Right. Yeah. It like zooms into one of their eyes or something.
Yep. People were all worked up about Resident Evil 5, but if only they had known the skeletons in the closet of Resident Evil. I don't know, man.
Well, in Resident Evil 0, you play like half of the train section and then you say, oh, wow, that's cool. And then you don't play it anymore. That's how you play Resident Evil in 2022, Resident Evil 0.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're done with it. You've wrung out all the, and really that's the best way to go about it, because truly it just gets worse as it goes.
It does.
Which is not a good thing for a video game. But I feel like that's something a lot of video games fall into, where it's like,
oh, sure,
we're not going to introduce new things to...
Yeah.
Except the Tyrant.
Yeah. Tyrant is here.
Yeah.
Wesker is here.
Yeah. I like Wesker when he's got the weird glowy red eyes and he's like running really fast.
Yeah.
That's my Wesker. This guy just sits at a computer. I don't know what's going on there. He's on dig.com or something.
Right. And you're always just behind him. Oh, we just missed him. There was someone on this computer just a little bit ago, but the computer doesn't work anymore for some reason. Is
that it? Is that what was happening? I had no idea. Because, yeah, there's a lot of like references like, somebody just lit this fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
I don't know what else you're supposed to get out of that. So that was my assumption.
Yeah. Well, you're making me realize you never actually meet any of the bad guys in this game until you fight the big, stupid Resident Evil monster at the end.
Right.
By turning valves.
Yeah, boy. If that finale isn't a microcosm for the rest of the video game.
Just bad combat while your partner just kind of does things that you don't really care about.
They completely squandered the 2-player thing. The 2 protagonist thing. You could do anything with that. You could have one player have to do one thing, like while you control the other player doing another thing. But no, it's just you got to walk around a room and make sure the bad guy doesn't hit the one AI companion that's actually doing the thing.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. And I just feel like, again, in that moment, it just breaks down where these games have become so terrible at like connecting what's actually happening in the scenario to like the mechanics of the game.
Totally.
Because it started as a PS1 game and they never did anything with it. So you're just like vibrating and rotating around this like big stupid looking monster.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be like this, really like maybe this scared children or something. I don't know. But it's just it's so stupid in the moment. It's just like, how can I get this to glitch the right way where it doesn't shoot acid at Rebecca while she's turning valves? And that's not good horror.
No,
really.
No. It's fascinating looking back on, I guess, these games now, where we know the trajectory of the franchise, where this is kind of where the buck stopped. They released a few things after this that I'm sure were just the same thing again. But they eventually make Resident Evil 4 where they finally do something different. But everything up to this point has just been the same thing again, except they try to resurrect it by throwing in a second protagonist and not doing anything else.
Yes. It's the end of a chapter, I guess. But it's so interesting because Code Veronica could have been that. Yeah. But that would have been depressing in its own way because they were they were moving somewhere with it.
Yep.
So it's double depressing that they then went back and then they killed it.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt really weird about this a lot of the time because this was like GameCube era. And they had that Resident Evil 1 remake that was GameCube era. So part of me was like, this had to have been like a financial decision. It was like, well, if we put in the effort for this, we can do the other one. So I guess we'll let you do it. Like a Resident Evil 2 remake, Resident Evil 3 remake situation. Yeah. Where it's like, I guess we'll let you remake this one because then you can remake the one right after that. Okay, I guess we're getting a return on investment there.
Woo! I love ROI.
Heck yeah.
Resident of interest. I have a question for you since we're talking about the series as a whole, Christian.
Sure.
When did this get horny?
Man,
because in this game, you can totally dress up Rebecca Chambers, who might be 12.
That's right.
In like a nurse outfit.
Oh, wow, that's right.
If you want. Or a basketball jersey.
Part of me wants to say Resident Evil 3 had something like that, but I don't
Yeah.
know if that's me just thinking of the remake or not.
Right. Right. But Resident Evil is horny. I think we can,
Oh, absolutely.
we can set the record straight there.
Yep.
I feel like 1 wasn't that horny.
Yeah. I don't think it was either.
Jill sandwich, if you get my meaning.
Yeah. Dogs crashing through windows.
Okay, yeah, that's what got me. Boy, what were we talking about? Oh, Resident Evil's pretty good, dude.
Do you love how it ends with an explosion self-destruct sequence just like every other Resident Evil game? Woo!
Christian, we've been kind of mean to Resident Evil 0.
Yeah.
And you're like, this just got made because of money reasons, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Give me as many bad Resident Evil games as you want. I like playing Resident Evil games even though they're bad. As long as I have a walkthrough, as long as I know I'm making progress,
Right.
and I know what's coming up,
Right.
and I'm not just wasting my time.
Yeah. And I think a lot of Resident Evil Zero's like puzzle stuff is at a pretty good level, I thought. Like
Sure.
where I felt like I didn't have to immediately go to a walkthrough to figure out where the heck I'm going or what I'm doing. Because it seems like pretty linear. Like you'll hit a switch and like 2 doors will open. You go into one door, you'll be like, oh, okay, I can't do anything here, so I'll go into the other door. And then there'll be an item there, and then you figure out what you do from there. It felt like it had a good cascade from that point, where I didn't feel very often like I was getting stuck or didn't know where I was going.
Yeah. It's kind of dumbed down in a way just because it's like,
Yes.
the fire key
Yes.
unlocks the fire door. And, all right.
Right.
Whatever. Is there ever a reason in any of these games where it's like, you can throw this away now? Where you're like, no.
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of.
Why not?
Because they
just-
always do it.
It does feel good. It's a
Yeah.
very like, it's like it's a little, it's like a little, the one moment of joy in this game is when it's
Yeah.
like, hey, don't worry about this inventory item anymore.
Another inventory slot.
Yes, God, exchange.
Yeah, speaking of that finale, they have like characters comment on stuff sometimes, like that finale where the self-destruct sequence starts and everything's blowing up. And I forget, one of the characters is like, who started a self-destruct sequence? And I'm like, thank you for asking that question.
Oh, I didn't.
It doesn't make it any better that you asked the question when nobody started a self-destruct sequence, but good on you.
Maybe it was that guy who shows up for like 5 seconds, and then she's like, and that was the last time I ever saw him alive. That's what she sounds like.
Yeah, you nailed it.
She looks very silly.
She does.
Okay.
She does.
That's all. Billy looks like a third-rate like Street Fighter character or something.
Ooh,
He's got like
he
the
does.
tribal tattoos and everything.
Ooh, absolutely.
No one understands me. And everybody's like, where'd he go, dude? Because you never know. Where's Billy?
knows. Where's Billy? Did he turn everyone into zombies?
What? Probably not. The T-virus. Ooh.
Yeah.
I do like call me an idiot, but I like at the end where it's like showing the mansion and then like pulls out and there's like that crazy moth and the spider's web. And I'm like, ooh, this just makes me want to go play a different Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
Never play this again.
Yeah. That's something, I guess. I don't know. Something about Resident Evil where I can finish one and then I still feel like I want a different one.
Yeah.
What is it about them that makes me feel that way?
It's because there's promise to it. And then you realize that promise is being tugged out from underneath you and you're falling and you're falling and you're falling, but then you land on another rug.
Ooh, totally. Totally.
It's like, ooh, the mansion.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe they're not, none of them are really that long. So maybe it helps
No.
that none of them are long enough to make me be like, I never want to touch one of these ever again.
This one felt really long to me, though.
Ooh.
Like, it didn't take me that long to beat it, but it was just like 2 is a much better game, but it had like things that would happen where you, like, I remember you go to the prison or the jail cells and there's like the reporter guy. Like, there's like plot happening as you play.
Oh, totally.
And events. And this game is just like, here's the next area. Get to the end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not great.
Yeah. It makes you carry around a hook shot for a long time.
Oh,
That's
my
2
God.
inventory slots, and I hate that thing so much.
And they don't tell you when you're done with it.
It's not like the keys.
That's really bad. Especially because this is a game where you have 2 characters and Ostensibly, one could boost the other one up through holes in the floor, which is what the hook shot is used for.
Yeah, yeah.
Christian, would you like to rank this?
Sure. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Where would you like to put it?
I don't know. I was thinking Code Veronica X as a
Yeah.
barometer. You feeling better or worse?
Ooh, that's tough. I love the train
Yes.
way more than anything in Code Veronica X.
Oh, good point. Good
I
point.
hate Antarctica or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Screw that. I think Code Veronica X is a more interesting game, though.
I would definitely agree.
Okay. I would put it above Resident Evil 0.
I agree.
Okay.
That's our barometer.
Okay.
And now we're down in the Sonic Rock block.
I don't want to put it too far down. This game's
Yeah,
fine.
I agree. Yeah, it's totally fine.
You can get through it okay. I don't know. It's like I would almost put it just like right below Code Veronica X, but that feels really weird.
It does.
I would put it. Let's separate them by Sonic the Fighters, maybe.
I
Make a little
agree.
sandwich.
Yeah. I like that spot. That is a tasty Jill sandwich.
Oh no, Christian! Now I have
I'm
to
sorry.
kill you.